Hello and welcome back to another video, and this one might be our most bougie install to date on YouTube. You'll see Jay's made a start on the roof. I'll take you up there, we'll have a quick look around, I'll tell you the job, and then we'll get cracked on with it and we'll film it all for you. But it's going to be a good one. I'll tell you about it up on the scaffold. Well, this is it. I am now up on the scaffold and this is our roof, so I'll spin you around and I'll talk you through what is going on here. So on this roof, you'll note that Jason has kicked up an entire row of tile. The reason for that is it's going to be Viridian in roof. So although this is a brand new house on a brand new housing estate just near Darlington Stadium, they never had PV as a standard. So we're going to strip the roof and we're going to put in here 12 410 watt, I believe they are, Viridian panels. And then to couple to that is going to be our first Tesla Powerwall 3 install. So it is definitely a bougie one. Viridian in roof, Powerwall 3, full home backup. Here we have it then. So we've started getting some tiles off and down onto the scaffold. So if we look, then look back up here, we'll get all of this area stripped off all the way down, and then we can start about putting our Viridian in-roof system in. However, I'm going to leave Jay doing this. As always. It's only fair. And I'm going to go do a solar survey quickly. We'll see how far he gets by the time I get back. Well, I am back from my survey and Jason has got some progress done, and we'll show you what the roof looks like when it starts to get stripped. Now, if we look down here, we have our center point of the roof, and then the bottom of our array, and then the top of our array is roughly here. If we continue down this way, we have the end of our array here. So we have 4 more courses of tile to strip off, get all of this down off the scaffold, and then we can start to get our Viridian kit installed. So we're going all right. Jason's done all right for the hour that I've been away. If it was me, I'd have probably finished it by now, but that is by the by.
That is an absolute lie, people. Do not listen to a word he says. Who's always working and who's always videoing?
Fair comment. There we go then. So that is now a blank canvas to start installing our Viridian on. So all the tiles that we need to strip off have been stripped off, and then we can now start to put our Viridian in. And what we've done is we have left a bunch of tiles along here, which we can then use as cuts to retile back up the top, and then also back up this side to the top. This is probably the hardest part of doing in-roof Viridian if you are doing it on a roof that is already tiled. Obviously, if you're doing it on a brand new roof, and luckily we have one just over there, which you might be able to see, on a new build, you wouldn't have to go through the rigmarole of taking, how many tiles did you say there was, Jay? 265 tiles off the roof. So that is what a roof looks like without 265 tiles on it. It is now the job to fit the Viridian and get it covered back in, and then up these sides retiled and back to being watertight. Although our roof membrane is watertight, so even if it was left like this tonight in a not a torrential downpour but a light rain shower / storm, there will be no damage to the inside of the property because it is a waterproof barrier anyway. But I don't know if you can just see behind me now, the sun has come out, so we can get on in the sun, fit the Viridian, make it look BEA beautiful, and yeah, it'll be a good day one on this, and then tomorrow we can flash up the sides and start installing the Powerwall 3. Little bit of a progress update, and we are getting on all right, I think. We've got our first 4 Viridian panels on, as you'll see. So the nice thing about Viridian is you never see any of the fixings. So on a standard on-roof system, you may see the clamps or the rail or the hooks. Viridian, all the fixings are hidden. so they go underneath flashings. But I'll spin you around, I'll show you roughly how they go and why it is so special in my opinion. What you get with Viridian is you get your first panel on, and then you get your bottom flashing pushed in, and then you work your way up this side. There's a flashing that goes in here, and then you continue up this side, and then you get your top flashing on, and then you have in here some gutters, which you can see all go together very nicely. And what they push into is they push into these seals. So as you work your way across, you have fixings that go into this bigger channel that then fix to the roof batten and the roof truss, or the roof truss along this edge anyway, the roof batten along the long edge, and then you work your way in and put your flashings in accordingly. So the next order of sequence is the side brackets in here, so a minimum of 2, but we'll probably put all 3 in because we can, and then this panel on, the brackets, the gutter, the panel, the bottom flashing, and then the flashings that go in the gutter to make the gutter all watertight. If anyone's ever done anything with velux windows and velux window flashings, very, very similar.
Don't do it again!
Yeah, Jay's having a lovely time doing this because I think it's about -1 currently, and neither of us can feel our hands. But you can't really do Viridian in gloves. But if you look over my shoulder...
Anyone out there asking for Viridian, we would love to do it. Come and see us in about May time.
Yeah, we'll do it in August or July. But you do see no fixings. And then once this edge down here is tiled back in tomorrow, it will look pucker, as Jamie Oliver used to say in the 90s. But we'll get 2 more panels on tonight, and then we are halfway across our 12 panel system, remembering that the roof has been stripped today as well. So I don't think we've done too badly to get the roof stripped, all of the tiles off the scaffold and down onto the decking into a skip, and then half our array done. Tomorrow we'll get the other half done, and then the sides tiled back in accordingly. Well, it is now 4 o'clock and it is really cold now, to the point that I can't feel my fingers. However, we are 50% of the way over the roof. I'll spin you around, I'll show you what that looks like, and I'll show you what we've got left on the roof for tomorrow. So there we are then, there is our first 3 panels on. There's 12 in total, so obviously there is still over there to do. However, that is a job for tomorrow. So I don't think we've done too badly for day 1. Obviously, I think, what do we say it was, 250 something tiles have been stripped off the roof, taken downstairs into the skip, and then 6 of the Viridian panels have been installed. Anyone that knows Viridian will know that it is a bit of a fiddle fest, especially if you haven't done it for a couple of months, which I haven't. I don't think I've done Viridian for about 10 to 12 months now, so it took me a little bit of time to get back into the swing of it, but we're pretty much there now. So tomorrow, them 6 panels, tile back in up there, and then obviously there will be to tile back in up this side as well. If anyone's interested, there is the centre of my array, and there is the centre mark, so I can use the tape measure. But yeah, we'll see you in the morning on day 2. Welcome back to day 2, and sort of failed a bit yesterday. I was going to try and get all of this roof panelled yesterday, however it was just too cold and a little bit of a chew. However, we got halfway, and today, if I spin round this way, there is a big fiery ball of sunlight in the sky. So, aim of today is to get these last 6 panels on, which Jay has made a start on doing. He's currently putting on the brackets that join our panels together. So these panels, or mid-clamp brackets, essentially slot into this lip, and then they screw down into the roof batten, and then the other panel sits in here, and then there's flashings that go in the gutter to keep the water tightness The points along the side, yes, do screw into the roof batten. If you want to go and read on the Viridian manual, it's the 25mm screw. There is then also brackets which go here along the bottom and also along the top on the short edge, and they screw into the roof truss. So the actual roof structure the same as a normal tile hook would. But we will endeavour to carry on, and by the end of today, as long as this big ball of fire stays bright in the sky, we should have this roof done, because I think at the minute it is 8 degrees and yesterday it was 1 degree. So already off to a better start. Let's keep going. You have it then, look, I have put this, well, we have put this extra panel on. We've put the gutter in, and now you can't see them fixings that were up the side of here. And these bottom fixings are in, where they slide into this and hook around, and then they are screwed into a roofing truss down here, and there is a second one down here. So it doesn't matter where they go along this edge as long as there is two. Then what you need is the finest window cleaner. Today it is the 80p stuff from Morrison's, and then these flashings, so these bits here, slide into the yellow, into this yellow, and below the black seal. Now Viridian say to hock tour on these with window cleaner, so give that a good spritzing of window cleaner, and I like to do the actual flashing as well as, and then what we need to do is we need to line all of this up and push it all in, but I need 2 hands for that. There we have it. So that is then pushed in up there, and this gutter is on top of it. So you've got to constantly think, you work your way up the roof with your gutterings. So any water that runs down this one is on top of this flashing, and then any water that runs down the top of the next ones is on top of the flashings below it. So no water runs down the back of the lower flashing. But as you can see, that pushes all the way into that groove quite nicely. And then we just continue to put our side fixings on up here, the same as we did there. Some side fixings on this one, some clamps that go into the roof truss, very similar to the ones that I showed you down here along the top. However, they have got a little bit extra on that sets the space between the bottom and the top panel. And we will carry on, and we should get the roof all squared away. So the roof work is now nearing completion, and we have only 2 more panels left to go. And there is a third member of DMH currently on the scaffold. He is the man behind our media. He is the man behind our advertising. You never see him, but Adam is here taking some beautiful photos of this install, because I only waffle onto a camera. But this is where we've got up to. We now have 10 panels. We have our last panel here, and then we only have up this side to go. So 1 panel here, 1 panel in there, and then the tiles and the flashings to cut back in on this side, as well as down there. And then the roof is done watertight in. The aim was in a day, however, it has now taken us a day and a half, but I do think the finished product is something to behold. When it comes to in-roof PV, be it on a re-roof, a new build construction, if you have something like what is currently happening over here, then it is the creme de la creme of in-roof solar systems, because you just do not see any fixings, and it does finish completely flush. So we'll get the roof finished, get you some glam shots of it, and then tomorrow we can move on to the Tesla Powerwall 3. Well, a little bit of a progress update of where we have got to, and as you can see, the roof is all done and dusted, and we have got one side tiled back in, so that is this side of the roof now all done. We just have that end to tile back in, which should take us round about, I reckon, half an hour, 40 minutes, and we end up with something that looks a bit like this. So you get all your flashings, and obviously the bottom flashing tucks under these tiles, and it all looks absolutely ruddy marvellous. So like I say, we will now endeavour to get this end tiled back in. So this end shouldn't be Don't think it'd be too bad to do really. We'll have a look at it, but get that cut done. Just using a 8-inch grinder just to cut the tiles, nice and easy rather than using a 4-inch. But Jason's just been saying that he doesn't think he's quite a fan of Viridian.
What's that?
Saying you're not a fan of Viridian.
Oh, I love Viridian. Absolutely love it. The end goal is amazing, but doing it, not so good.
Not enjoying himself doing Viridian.
There's a lot of claret on the roof.
There's a lot of claret on the roof from both Jay and I. I think the problem with Viridian doing it on a roof that is previously tiled, as Jay has already said, well, hasn't already said to you, but said to me, is that we've had to remove all the tiles, which
1.1 tons worth of tiles have had to be lifted off and taken off the roof and skipped.
Yeah.
So by the time you've stripped the roof and you become ready to start the job and get your first panel up, you're already dead.
Yeah, you're already pretty tired, but we don't worry about that, do we, Jason?
We crack on.
We're not scared. We're not scared of graft. Just scared of the dark
And the cold.
and the wet. But
Bring back summer.
that's it. But yeah, the finished product is absolutely stunning. So we'll get this finished off that end, and then, like I say, Powerwall 3 tomorrow. So the roof is now finally done, and if we look up here, it is now all tiled in. All back up this side is tiled in, and then if Jay takes you back down that end of the roof, you will see that that end is also tiled in with it. So this roof has been stripped, it has been panelled, all in Viridian, all the flashings, all done, and then we have done all the cuts and retiled in back up each end, as well as the actual top of the array. All we have now left is to clean up the absolute mess that is on the scaffold, followed by sticking these flashings down, which is 10 minutes worth of work. But tomorrow, day 3 on this job, and it is Powerwall 3 install day, and hopefully commissioning. If it's not commissioned tomorrow, Saturday morning to commission it, but by the end of this video, the system will be up and running. Viridian 12405s and a Powerwall 3. So yeah, stay tuned for day 3. Well, welcome back to day 3, and now the roof is complete, we find ourselves in the garage at the main intake for the property. The consumer unit, which is a Hager board in the garage, and is fed via the tails down this piece of trunking. And if we look back to this way, I have already got some fireboards mounted, and this is where our Powerwall 3 is going to live. I'll show you how we're going to do that. What we're going to do is we are here going to mount our gateway and cut into our tails here, pull them back out the DB and run some new ones up to the DB. That is going to then supply our gateway. We can then run down this bit of 50x50, up this 100x50, mount our 63 amp isolator, as on this house we have got full G99 for 11 kilowatts of export. So 63 amp isolator, 50 amp Proteus RCBO. As we know, Proteus are double poles, bi-directional, and they are perfect for doing renewables. So we like them, that is why we do them. And then we can come off of our isolator into our Powerwall 3, which will live on the fireboards behind me. And then if we look up, just up here, Jay has already got a 15mm SDS bit through the wall, and that is where our PV Ultra will come down from the roof from our Viridian panels that you've already seen. So I'm now going to get on and mount a bit of this, and I'll update you when I've got something else to show. So that is the Powerwall in and finished and commissioned, and a beautiful white Tesla light on the front of it. So this Powerwall 3 now has the ability to take our PV power down our PV Ultra from the roof on the panels at the back. With its built-in inverter, either send that power straight out to the home or store it in the 13.5 kilowatt hours of battery storage that is in here. I think they are quite a bit better than the Powerwall 2s. They're certainly a lot easier to install. I think they look absolutely fantastic. And then with the 11.5 kilowatt hours of discharge into the home, whether that is on grid or off grid, they're an absolute powerhouse. So we have got a couple more of these booked in the new year, and I am looking very, very much forward to doing them. And in this garage, I think this one looks absolutely brilliant. Gives us our gateway where we have intersected the tails, our consumer unit just up here, which is just out of shot, our generation meter, our 63 amp isolator, and then our Powerwall 3 here. The customer of this property is already talking about adding an expansion pack to here, because we are also going to do a Valent heat pump on here, and that will be covered under DMH's MCS, and there'll be a video coming to that on YouTube when that happens in the new year. But for now, Powerwall 3, commissioned, storage, earth rod is outside, 12 Viridian 405 panels on the roof, and that's another home plugged into sunshine, both on and off grid. Since this has actually been installed, the customer has experienced one power cut. The lights didn't go off. The Powerwall performed as we expected, changed over, kept the lights on, and that was the most important thing. So, thank you for watching. Again, if you would like something for your home, very similar, be it a Powerwall 3 or a different system, on roof or in roof, then our contact details are down below in the description. Please do get in contact with us. We cover all of the UK, and I will see you in the next one. Here is some nice drone shots of the roof.